The CS for Energy and Petroleum, Mr. Chirchir, and National Treasury, CS Njuguna Ndung'u, have certainly committed criminal offenses, abused office, and gone against the Constitution. They stole money from the Consolidated Fund in addition to spending monies way above what Parliament approved. They must not only resign, they must also be prosecuted.
Now, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and good evening. Now, listen, there is something that Raila Odinga wants to do to William Ruto. And this is going to be very interesting to follow because, I was watching the Raila who released the dossier, the oil deal scam, and again the Raila who came out to give us the confirmation. So like he was stamping what he had started. Most of the times when Raila releases, a kind of a deal that the government corrupted, then definitely he will be making them sequentially. So that anybody who is interested in relying on his report will definitely rely based on the sequence that he is providing them. And if you're very keen, you realize that he is promising people that stay tuned, okay, be glued, because more will definitely come. The same thing he said when he was releasing the first one. Today also, he was saying, there are more to be unearthed. In fact, he's calling for an action plan that should be implemented by the independent institutions. But I want to deviate a little bit from that. I want to tell you why Raila Odinga is now coming out to, be the dossier releaser, why he is gone back to his default setting. Two things, and we will definitely be done. The first one, Raila Odinga wants to cripple Ruto's effort to fight corruption because, he's taking advantage of the fact that William Ruto is not walking the talk in as far as fighting corruption is concerned. Like, for instance, every Kenyan was waiting that the moment Ruto said mambo ni matatu, we really knew that perhaps we might see the Ruto we did not expect in the first place. But you see everything that has come based on the time frame we have had since he made those statements. We have not seen anything tangible coming out from him. In fact, we are hearing corrupt cases. Some are being sugar-coated, some are just being pampered and are being covered. So Raila Odinga has noted that this man is not walking the talk. And if he's not walking the talk and these corrupt dealings are so weighty and are so heavy, he is taking advantage of the situation. And by doing that, the only end game will always to cripple William Ruto's effort to fight corruption. How will William Ruto now come again next time to give warning when Raila is releasing the dossiers like the ones we are hearing? Okay, he won't be at ease in coming out to do what he did the other time when he was giving Rai mambo di matatu. So crippling Ruto's efforts here in fighting corruption will go back to informing the people that, we told you very well that this man cannot fight corruption. So he is is in the mix. So you can't fight when you are inside. You can only fight when you are outside. So Ruto can't fight corrupt when he is dining with the corrupt. So Raila Odinga is taking that advantage. And when Raila is planning to release more dossiers, it will be suppressing Ruto's effort to come out and even try to fire some warnings to the corrupt. So that is the first thing. Now, the second thing, Raila is building up, a foundation of what he needs to come up with the next course of action that they will land on as Azimio, and generally for him as Raila Odinga. Because most of the times you realize that in politics, people always buy into Raila Odinga ideas based on how he can inform the people on the ill things that are happening in the government, the ill motives. Most of the times, if you look at the scorecard of Raila Odinga or the rating, you find that he is highly rated well enough the moment he has released a dossier or he has whistleblown a given scandal in the government. Like right now, Raila is the darling, okay? Although there is a countermeasure or a counter move by the government to try to discredit what he brought on board, but the reality is that whatever Raila Odinga is releasing, that one, I think you can give it some good test of affirmation, and you can just move with utmost certainty that it did happen. So with that, Raila Odinga is building his foundation of what he needs to move with. You know, the moment they will resurface with their campaigns, they are kind of building what we call the evidence in politics. So the evidence in politics is, we will tell people that this is where your money went to. This is why things would not flow for you. Okay, you know, we have always known our government to always be greedy at the expense of people. So when people are crying, you know, and the moment you shed tears, that is the time you can see clearly. And you can just imagine when Raila Odinga will be coming on board and telling the people that, you know, you are crying, and this is where the source of your cry is attached to. So the root cause of everything is the corrupt dealings, and the man who cannot handle it is the man you actually took to power. So he is building the evidence, the political evidence that they will definitely move with whenever they want to actually tackle William Ruto. Now, the last thing, of course, which is a supplementary to the two that we have had, is Raila is trying to distance himself from now being closer to the government. For instance, the other time I was telling you that perhaps the government is trying to consolidate Raila, to make Raila compact and be silent. For instance, we would say that the bipartisan talk will be looking forward to facilitating Raila Odinga so that he becomes silent. But, you know, that one only is catering for an aspect or a given portion of the entire political realm. But, you know, the things to do with corrupt dealings, you know, you cannot silence Raila Odinga. You cannot actually completely make him to be silent. So he's telling the government that however much we might talk of maybe you are creating an office for me and you will be facilitating me, you know, if you do the ills, I will still expose you. You know, I will still lay out your dirty linen to the public. And this is what the public is really requiring to know. This is what we need actually to know, because we are not seeing where this money is being taken to. All right? We are not seeing, you know, the taxes being collected, but we are not seeing where they are going to. Collecting too much, but the pocket is also calling for too much to be kept in them. So Raila Odinga is strategically using his political wits to tackle very weighty issues that if you are very keen, you will definitely know that everything that he is doing right now is coming with a message, is coming with a target that he is looking forward to. Otherwise, you know what they always say in politics, that in politics there is nothing that happens out of a mere coincidence. Even the way Raila is releasing these dossiers, there are political interests behind them, there is the personal interest behind them, and there is the general interest. Because you will be wondering, why is it that Raila Odinga is resurfacing right now to start giving people the dossiers? It is all about interest. And this interest are strategically positioned for him to benefit. Let me hear what you have from your side, ladies and gentlemen. Let's meet next.